All right. Here we are again. It is From the Margins with my dear friend and mentor, James Savant. Hello, Jimmy.
How are you doing, everybody? We're entering to the month of November. November,
Yes.
the month of Thanksgiving, the month of overeating and of football. So, yes, it is. We're down the stretch. We're almost at the end of the year, and it's starting to get cold and nice here in Florida. Not sure how it is up north, but here it's kind of nice. It's in the 70s, and you can walk outside and breathe clean air, and basically enjoy the day outside. Which during the summer here, if you're more than 5 minutes outside, you're sweating profusely. So it is good. But the bad news is that on November 1st, the federal funds for SNAP, which used to be called food stamps, for those of you who SNAP used to be called the food stamps, it's a little card that people get if they meet certain criteria, and it helps them to get fed. And for those of you who think that these are lazy people, again, need to stop listening to Fox News and these people. SNAP gives money to seniors who basically they did not work enough to make it alone on Social Security, and really nobody lives off Social Security. That
Yeah.
was not his intent. It was to help you out, but you were supposed to have your own. And there are a lot of seniors out there who are working because they were not able to save. They were from paycheck to paycheck, like many people today. And there were people who basically uh, were spouses, brought up their kids, stayed home moms, and their reward for that is that Social Security pays them less because they did not work the full amount of time that other people do, so they depend on SNAP. Then you also have what I would call the disabled. Okay, you have the people who mentally are have serious mental health issues, and you have then also what I would call people who are not capable of making a full living. They work, but their money is not enough to pay, and particularly those families that have 4 and 5 kids that basically, because of simply the amount of kids, qualify for SNAP and for WIC. Now, uh, the philosophy of this country has always been that everybody should carry their weight, and I agree with that philosophy. The only problem is that not everybody can. There is where the difference is. You have uh, people with disabilities who cannot work
Yeah.
and get a check from SSI for $850 a month. They have to depend on SNAP to feed themselves. They have to depend on Medicare for their health care. Uh, uh, well, they should stop being disabled. That is as stupid as saying I should stop being a human being. You are what you are, and we accept you for what you are. And this is the reality. But SNAP, here is where it becomes interesting. Yes, the government's closed down, but there is really no financial need to stop paying for it. In SNAP's funding, there
Okay.
is an emergency contingency. It is there. The president's people have put in their website that they're defining that as if there is a hurricane. Well, but in November 1st, there's no hurricanes that are going to hit us anymore. We're at the end of the hurricane season, so that makes it a kind of. Can there be earthquakes and other disasters? Yes,
Yeah.
and that's something complete. But right now, I like what the judge said is that she cannot imagine a better reason to use emergency funds than for this emergency. Uh, but it is a game of chicken, and the ones who are paying are us. The Republicans think that if they say we're not going to pay for SNAP, and those states that finance SNAP, we're not going to reimburse them, that the Democrats are going to blink and go along with it. I think the president has realized that they're not blinking, so he ordered today and I say order because the way he said it, it is an order. The U.S. Senate to end the filibuster and to go atomic, nuclear, excuse me, nuclear
Right.
on it, and go for it. I wish they did, because if they do, in 2 years, when the Democrats take over the Senate, they're going to be able to appoint everybody they want. They're going to be able to do everything they want, and there will not be that frame of the 60 votes. The Republicans won't do it because they don't have the guts to do it, and really they don't have the votes to do it. That's the second thing. They really don't. Uh,
Okay.
and the Democrats are not going to vote for it, and they do not have the 60 votes to take it down. So it's going to be an interesting thing. But this is what bothers me. We are playing with people's food. You want to play with some other things? I don't have a problem. But both parties, you're playing with people's food. Uh, Food banks could just do so much, and that's a fact of life. But let me clarify something. In Florida alone, 1/18th% of the population of Florida, between seniors, disabled, children,
Okay.
single moms. For those of you like me who were brought up with a single mom who had to have two jobs to put food on the table and still had to depend on help of others, will be without this supplement. If that's something that you enjoy, that is fine. If that's something you agree with because you can eat, and like you could have taken Mel Brooks' attitude in the movie History of the World 2. I don't know if you remember that they're in the Senate, they go, fuck the poor. And that's basically what the Republicans are doing in the U.S. Senate, saying, fuck the poor. Uh, Look, this is something serious. It's a critical moment. How long is this going to go on? Is going to be a good question. This who is the king of the MAGA people has said he's going to try to find some funds to maintain SNAP open, and that's a Republican governor. Uh, Look, it is something that the federal government does not understand. The second portion of SNAP that most people do not understand. If you think that this is done to help the poor, you don't understand politics. It really is not meant to help the poor. Do you know who this is meant to help?
Who's that, Jimmy?
The rich. Okay, you can say, whoa, whoa, whoa. The farmers, who basically, those days of the Mr. Farmer with his family, no, no, no. Now we have mega farm corporations that are working the farms in this country. Then the supermarkets, because with this SNAP products, they walk into the supermarket and they buy.
Yes.
And this benefits the person in the supermarket because he has more sales. And he has sales that he basically takes this in and it's deposited directly to his account by the U.S. government. So it's not like they give him a back check or they give him a fake $10 bill, or that Visa says, hey, 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 this card it was over and we're not going to pay you for this. That is where, okay, that is where we have to understand the portion of this. The people who are going to put pressure and putting pressure on Trump right now is not the poor people. It is his people, the rich, uh, uh, Publix, AMP, Kroger, and I could keep going on, that sell to these people, and the big pharma groups like Tyson and all those others that sell the products that they made sure qualify for SNAP. You cannot buy toilet paper with SNAP, but you can buy Tyson chicken bites. You cannot buy cleaning detergent, but you can buy um, processed Ego waffles, which have no nutritional value, but you can buy it. Uh,
Right.
so it's so when you're thinking that the poor people are the only ones going to be affected by this, no, no, no. Rich people get legislation passed that might help the poor, but really helps them. And this is the prime example. The farmers depend on this, and so the supermarkets. And for
Right.
that matter, even Cisco. And if you're wondering what is Cisco, it's the largest distribution of food company in the United States. They
Right.
distribute food to restaurants, but to supermarkets and if to everybody. So yeah, as a matter of fact, it's kind of interesting because they distribute what you would call meat. And by the way, your president has agreed that we could bring frozen meat from Argentina to eat in this country because we don't have enough cattle.
Yes, that's right.
And the last part of we don't have enough cattle, before you start putting your comments, am I being sarcastic? Yes, I am. Okay, we do have enough cattle. Okay, but yes, it is going to be an interesting reaction. But
And Jimmy, how did we get here? You know, we're 30 days. Senator Thune has not agreed to end the filibuster. So we're still at a stalemate. But how did we get to the point where we are at this stalemate in regards to the continuing resolution?
well, it's a two part. One, I would say, is mutual stubbornness. Okay, give you
Okay.
one example. Mike Johnson refuses to open the House with the excuse that the Democrats have to accept the continuing resolution, or otherwise he's not going to open the House. In other words, he's trying to force their hand, and they're saying, no, but I'm not going to allow you to force my hand, so that's it. Truth of the matter is, like I always say, there's a distraction. The reality is simply, basically, he doesn't want to open the House because if he opens the House, he has to swear in Garjales. If he swears in Garjales, she's going to sign the Epstein thing, and if she signs the Epstein thing, the thing is going to pass through the House, and then, unfortunately, uh, Trump is going to be angry because his name is going to be in the mud. Uh, they don't want that to happen. So basically, at this point, it's a stubbornness on both parts. Now, the Democrats will tell you with certain degree of validity that it is because this is the only resource they have. The truth of the matter is that basically they would be better off saying the truth. Look, we're trying to force the Republicans' hand to say we're not going to wait until December about these things with health insurance because basically the prices have come up for 2026, and what they're saying is effective January when you renew, these are the prices. And if we don't do something now, next year people are going to be paying through the nose and through the eye. As a matter of fact, it's gotten so bad. Florida, here, our state, there used to be 16 companies that did Plan D. It's down to 9. Why? Basically, it's I talk. You could talk to all of them, and they're going to tell you the same thing. They're not sure if there's going to be any funding. And if there's no funding for the Plan D, they, half in June or July, they're going to have to contact everybody and say, "Hey, we cannot sustain this anymore. We're out of here." So it's really something that people need to understand. Look, it's not only your healthcare; it is basically the healthcare industry that might go down, and it is remember something: those people who depend on Medicare and Medicaid have worked all their life,
Yeah.
have paid their taxes, have done their jobs, and now they're entitled to the benefits they were promised by the government. So to say, well, who cares about them? That's fine. You know the difference between a senior and a non-senior? 20 years. Simple as that. If you're in your 40s, you're 45, in 20 years you're going to be 65 and you're going to be a senior. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, at 55 you qualify for AARP. So, if you're 45, you're 10 years away from being a member of AARP. So it is what we need to understand. As a matter of fact, I have a friend the other day who's 45 who told me he did not understand today's music. And I go, hey, if you don't at 45, guess what? I have no idea. I like Bad Bunny, but that's because I can understand Spanish. If I didn't understand Spanish, maybe I can understand that. But that's an issue for another day. Realistically, you have to understand that right now, most people understand that the House, Senate, and presidency are in Republicans' hands. If it's not working, it's because Republicans refuse to do something. So they're paying a price much higher than Democrats. Right now, Democrats are good with the shutdown. Republicans are not. As a matter of fact, we don't have our Marjorie Taylor Greene. We don't. Republicans do have theirs,
Yes, 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 they do.
and she's very vocal. And the thing is that you ask Mike Johnson if there's a plan. He says yes, there's a plan. When you ask him what the plan is, no. So I'm going to give you one word. When a politician says something to you, use one word. Oh, not one word. A little phrase. How are you going to get there? Because they'll say we have a great plan, and the plan is. I mean, I remember in 2016, Trump said that they had a health plan, which was 10 times better than Obamacare, and that it was going to be loved by everybody in the United States, and it was around the corner, and he was going to present it. We're in 2025, and I'm still waiting. We're 9 years later. The Republicans don't have a health plan. Their idea is get rid of Obamacare and everybody fetch for themselves. Which, if that's the attitude of a government, I'm not going to protect you, I'm not going to help you, fend for yourself. Uh, that's the decline of a civilization. But it is going to be interesting. Who's going to sneeze first and say, okay, let's fix that? As a matter of fact, for the record, they have not passed a continuing resolution to continue paying the armed forces either,
That's correct.
or the FBI.
That's correct.
And right now here in Orlando, there's nobody in the towers.
Ooh.
Ooh. The towers I'm talking about, the towers in the airport, the ones with the TSA. Yeah, those guys who say, yes, you can land now. Yes, it looks good. So,
I,
yeah.
I I know early this morning in the middle of the night they halted arrivals to MCO, Orlando International, because of staffing issues. And with the holidays coming up,
Oh, if you can, change your airline tickets and rent a car.
yes,
You you might have a better chance to get to Chicago by driving there than you will by flying there. But yeah,
that's true. That's
just
true.
saying.
But Jimmy, so both parties are digging in, and you need 60 votes in the Senate to move the continuing resolution forward. I and I know there allegedly are some moderate Democrats who are willing to cross the aisle and say, "Hey, let's do this." However, um, we still have a health care issue that will present itself at the beginning of the new year in regards to Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, and premiums likely to go up significantly, not and 1,000%, but significant where it's going to give some people second thought about signing on to Obamacare come tomorrow, November 1st. That's when the it's open enrollment. How do we, regardless of what type of agreement there's going to be, how how can the Democrats get what they need for the Obama subsidies, Obamacare subsidies, and still move forward with funding the government?
Oh, that's a simple one. Come up with a
Okay.
plan. Say, okay, we're going to fund the Obamacare at $382 billion from the year 2026 all the way to 2030. Here's the money. And by the way, we just added to the continuing resolution, and it's passed. The problem that we have that we don't want to say is that today is the 31st of October. Happy Halloween to all of you.
Happy Halloween.
And but you are 60 days away of the subsidies running out. Uh, if there's no subsidies for 2026, it's not like, well, I'm not going to buy Obamacare. I'm going to buy something else. There is nothing else for you. Uh, if you're buying Obamacare, your employer is not providing you insurance. Okay, you are self-employed, like you and me. There
Right.
is no employer's subsidy. Okay,
Right.
uh, you are working in with and for you're out of work right now, and you're under the age of 26, and you live with your parents, which that doesn't happen in the United States. We know that doesn't happen. We know it does, and we we are on the subsidy of Obamacare. Uh, People who are looking into Obamacare is because they don't have options. Okay, Obamacare gives them options of you go with Blue Cross Blue Shield, you would go with
Right.
Humana, you would go with United. Yeah, those options they have, but it's not like they could go to their employer. It's not like they could go to somebody else. As a matter of fact, those of you who love Dan Newland, if he got you 40 for $500,000, that money is supposed to be for your recovery and to be used for medical bills.
That's
And
right.
basically, that's going to happen because if like it or not, no car insurance pays past more than $100,000 in medical bills. Most of them don't, and if your bills are 2 million, the rest comes out of your pocket because your health insurance doesn't pay for it either.
Mm.
So you know. Uh, but let's say your health insurance drops you because now you're a liability. You have to go back to Obamacare. So
Yeah.
the truth is, people are looking to Obamacare. It's not like they have options. Oh, let me see if Obamacare is cheaper than my employer. Normally, they don't do that. That's not it. You? Yeah, you can. Would it be better? Well, without the subsidies, no. Let me put it this way: without the subsidies, no. With the subsidies, yes. I would concur with that one. But at this point, you are telling the people in this country that you claim have the best hospitals and the best doctors that they're not going to have access to them because you don't want to pay for it. You want to take that money and give it into tax breaks to the rich because the rich put money in your pocket and you are corrupt like most politicians. You take money from the rich to screw the poor. So yes, but it's very simple. Here's money for 5 years. Okay, like the last time. And yes, we'll sign the continuing resolution.
Right.
And but it's, let me say this, politics 101. Here's something for you. Here's something for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's happy. Here's
Yeah.
something for you. And screw me. It doesn't work. And that's basically what they do. This is the continuing resolution. We're not going to, we're, we're going to tell you that we're going to fund it down the lane. And by the way, there's something interesting about the continuing resolution that nobody's talking about.
What's that, Jimmy? What did I miss?
You miss, when does it expire?
Oh. Oh, Jimmy, that's a good question. Um, would it be for what, 90 days?
It was originally for 90 days. You're correct.
Okay.
Expires in this month of November. So if they approve it tomorrow, they're screwed because
We're right
it
back where
only
we
lasts for
started.
14 or 15 days, and that's it. So what the Democrats have to do is wait out another 14 or 15 days. It's expired, and they say, well, you have a continuing resolution. Yeah, but it expired already. We can't vote on it. It's no longer good. House go back and negotiate another one and include in there the health care, and we're all happy, and we all could go home for Christmas.
That's crazy.
It was not for 6 or 8 months. I think
Right.
I'm almost certain it expires this month. If you want to look it up, look it up. But yeah,
And this is the frustration that people have with government, that they don't deliver. And when they
No, they don't.
do, there's always strings attached.
And if they deliver, you question who does it benefit. Okay, right now, yeah, there's subsidies for Obamacare. I agree. Does the public benefit from that? Yeah, they do. I'm not going to say they don't. Do the health industry benefit from it? Yeah, because it has more clients
Right.
and it has more sales. So, yes, instead of now insuring 6 million people, they're insuring 12 million people. Yeah, that's so legislation to pass that has to benefit the rich and has to benefit the poor. Normally, that is the way it works in this country. For some reason, people think that the benefits do. An example. Let me get to what I call the great Republican lie. The Democrats want to pass these bills because they want to continue benefiting uh, illegal immigrants. Okay, two parts. Republicans are all about state rights. There are, I think, three states that will allow workers in their states that are registered to get Medicaid. Comes out of state funds, for the record, and some
Right.
of it are matched with federal funds. I agree. Okay, that's all about the states. Just like there's a bunch of states that forbidden abortion, that's the right of the state to do so. Or in like our case in the state of Florida, where they forbid you from reading the history of Roberto Clemente in school because he complained about the discrimination against him as a
Right.
black man. Okay, uh, that is the rights of the states. The other one is a little bit more controversial. Is what I call the Republican hypocrisy. Well, what do I mean by that? This is the Republican hypocrisy. If you go to the emergency room in this country and you have no health insurance, they must take care of you. That is federal
That's right.
law.
Right.
Okay? That is federal law, and they will use Medicaid funds to reimburse you. Okay, according to Evan Health and Randall uh, uh, Health, who operate two largest hospitals here, they have about 14 to 15% yearly, what I like to call the tourist factor. And they have
Yeah.
insurance here.
Right.
They come from maybe England, Europe, Japan, South America, Central America,
Brazil.
Africa, Asia, whatever. They come here to see Disney and they get sick. They get in a car accident.
Right.
They have food poisoning, whatever. Okay. They end up in the hospital. They do not have local insurance.
Correct.
Okay. They do not have local insurance. So under the Medicaid, they have to be treated, but Medicare reimburses it. So when we tend to think that, yes, there are people who are receiving these benefits who are not U.S. citizens, it's not always what I call illegals. Sometimes it is people here who are on a tourist visa in Disney, going out, got into a car accident, they ended up in the hospital, they got sick, they end up in the hospital, they had a heart attack, they end up in the hospital, and guess what? They don't have our health insurance. Yes, they're not U.S. citizens, but they're here legally, invited by the great Disney, Universal, and Legoland people to come here. Yes, those people are being financed by us. They are.
Okay.
Okay, no question. But Republicans have never tried to do anything about it because they don't want to piss off the hospitals. They need the hospitals for their contributions. So, yes. Is it true? Yes. Is it stretching the truth? Yeah. Are they all here illegally? No. Some of
Hmm.
them are very legal here. And the interesting thing is that they tend to look at last names. The other day, it was interesting because somebody from Evan Hill was going, well, how can you tell me that Mr. Johnson doesn't have insurance? Well, Mr. Johnson's from England. He does have England health insurance,
Right. That's
universal,
true. National
but
health.
they don't pay over here. So that's a fact of life. They don't. But oh, Mr. Johnson's from England. They assume that Johnson is an American. And Mr. Gutierrez, I'm sorry, he is a he he, he is not an American.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I heard the other day again that Bad Bunny is not an American. Yeah, okay,
Jeez.
okay. So hey,
Puerto Rico.
or my all-time favorite. This is once I want to say this in fairness to everybody. Somebody told me I can't understand what he's saying. He said, "Welcome to my world." I don't understand half of the rappers myself either.
I don't either. Not on this
I
day and age.
don't
I don't get it. I don't
know.
get it. I really.
I remember once when I was in my 40s that uh, young kids would say bad and they meant good, and they would say good and they meant bad, and I was okay. I'm confused. I'm out of here. So yeah. So when people tell me you don't understand him, welcome to my world. I don't understand 90% of the rappers. And I might understand a word here, a word there, and they have to yell it out for me to. And I'm going, okay, what does he mean by that? Okay,
Right.
yeah, but it is interesting. Or my all time favorite, uh, Snoopy was with Fluffy. I don't know if you know Snoop Dogg,
Yes.
and Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, the comedian. They're sitting down, and Snoopy and him and his podcast are smoking some nice weed, and they're having a good time. And all of a sudden, Snoopy puts on some gangster Mexican music,
Okay.
and Fluffy goes, "Hey man, that's in Spanish. How can you understand it?" It says, "Gangster understands gangster." So it's it is a different world. So
I, I agree with you about today's music, Jimmy. I can't keep up with it. It's hard for me to understand what they're saying. It sounds like they're just just
I have the
mumbling.
benefit. I understand Bad Bunny perfectly. His Spanish, I understand that. I understand where he's coming from, and
Right,
I understand that a lot of people in Puerto Rico in the United States are afraid because he is not pro statehood. He isn't.
right. Okay.
He's, he's not even pro Commonwealth. So there's only a
So
third option. So you know which one that is.
independence,
Uh,
yes.
so
And
that I understand that they're concerned about, but no. So here in the state of Florida, we we have an interesting situation.
okay.
We have one person running for uh, attorney general out of South Florida,
Oh, okay. Let's check that out.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Former Senate candidate, former senator from South Florida. Yes, state senator.
We have a school teacher running for the Senate against Mooney,
Okay,
and
yes.
we don't have anybody for CFO or agriculture that I know of yet.
Yes, we do. We do have someone for Commissioner of Agriculture, and
Who?
that is Chase Andy Anderson Romag- Romagnato. Romagnato is his name. That's a long name. Out of Pensacola. Chase Anderson Romagnato.
Okay, so we do have somebody final. Okay, but we still don't have anybody for CFO.
And for CFO, sir, no one. As a matter of fact, Jimmy, we have all Republicans and one NPA
For CFO?
for CFO. That's correct.
Okay, that's interesting. And for governor, we have one former Republican running as a Democrat.
And there is, let's see, there are some Democrats. Richard Paul Dembinski is one. Another is David Jolly, which we're aware of, the party favorite. Donald Peterson, Bill Slater, and of course, the rumors may become a reality next week, and that would be Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings filing for governor.
Ah, well, Why would you call it a rumor? The thing is that he's not made it official, but those of us who have been talked to in the last 2 weeks know that it's a matter of time.
Yes.
Like my grandmother used to say, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Uh, if it's going to happen, no, it's going to happen. When? That's a good question.
Yeah.
And that will be an interesting campaign because he's not one of Nikki Farr's favorite persons.
Right. And again, and we talked about this, Jimmy. I mean, I think it's a little bit too late. The party has already fallen in line with David Jolly. Um, and then for a statewide race, sure, Mayor Demings has been on the front pages of the newspaper here in Orlando. We know how many times. But as far as name recognition, that could be attributed to his wife. Will he ride some of her coattails? Sure, sure. But at the same time, I just, is this a prelude to something else? Sure, maybe. But as governor, I just think it's a little bit too late.
It might be too late for the party, but I'm going to say this to my party. You need to stop running former Republicans and make them your candidate. You did it twice with Charlie Chris and you got nowhere. You
Jesus.
could get behind Jolly as much as you want and you'd get nowhere. You could do whatever you want to do about this, but you need to get your shit together. You have
Mhm.
candidates who are former senator for to run as attorney general against a corrupt, appointed, not elected, appointed politician, which should make your life much easier. The same with the
Right.
CFO. Okay, uh, that is going to be a matter. The other thing that right now is going to create a problem in the Florida Democratic Party is as follows. Do you really, Florida Democratic Party, I'm going to ask you a question and I'm not going to give the answer, but I'm going to ask you the question. Do you really want to endorse, push forward a white former Republican male against a loyal African American Democrat? Do it. It's going to be the end of the party, as we could speak of. Do it, and it's going to be uh, you're going to go nowhere. And let's make this worse. If Demings is smart enough, I'm going to say this. If Demings is smart enough to say, okay, let me tell you
Mhm.
that my vice governor is going to be an Hispanic woman, and you're going to back a white man who we don't know who's a lieutenant governor candidate is going to be because it has not been announced as we speak, so it hasn't. And he ends up with you end up two white males against an African American and Hispanic woman, and you go against them before the election is over. The Florida Democratic Party is gone. Look, Nikki is crazy right now.
Mm.
Everything she's doing is crazy. Uh, Florida Democratic Party, I'm a Democrat. I'm criticizing you because you need to change. As a matter of fact, this Tuesday, we're going to have a different mayor in New York City, and the liberal part of the Democratic Party is taking over. Okay? You might not like it, you might not agree with it. The youth is kicking out the old farts. That includes you, Nick. You need to be kicked out. Ah, but right now, I'm going to make it official. My name is James Arafat, and I am in publicly endorsing Jerry Demings for governor of the state of Florida.
And there it is. There it is.
I'll leave it at that. I know Jerry. I know his integrity. I know he's not perfect. God forbid, neither am I. But I know that he is savvy enough to know what needs to be done. And at the end of the day, I can work with it. So let me go first publicly and send that out. And if that pisses off the hierarchy of the Florida Democratic Party, that's just a cherry in the ice cream. I love that one. So you don't pay my bills, so I don't give a right ass of what you think. So, uh,
Jimmy. Oh,
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead,
no,
Jimmy.
no, go ahead.
Now, I was going to say that, that bringing it even closer to home, we're talking about Florida, and you mentioned elections on November 4th, this Tuesday, and theoretically in 3 days. Um, we've got elections here in Orlando, and these elections are very important, of course, but these particular elections may determine how the city moves forward. Seeing that we have one seat that was held by um, Robert Stewart, Commissioner Stewart, for years. He declined to run again, and so it's an open seat. We have an interim, I guess, I know, a special election candidate who is facing a former commissioner in District 5. And then we have in District 1 the lone Republican, now that Tony Ortiz has left the Republican Party and became a Democrat. But Jim Gray in District 1, Orlando City District 1, the lone Republican, facing a tough reelection battle against three other candidates, namely Tom King. What's your thoughts on the elections for districts 1, 3, and 5?
Okay, let's start with one. The fact, the only thing that's is saving the might save the incumbent is that he's running against three others. If it
Right.
was one on one, I would say he would be gone, but that might be a safer guy. So I think he's going away. It's my understanding that Lake Nona put a lot of money and work behind him because he's been very good to them. So that's
Yeah.
something that needs to be said. District 5 is going to be an interesting one. Look, they took out somebody that was well liked, somebody that was reelected, okay, and replaced her with somebody that basically is not that well known in there. And is, like you said, is running against a former commissioner who was very well liked.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to say that. And you have to understand that you're talking, let's take it to the county. We went to District 6 with Lawana, and people thought that how could Lawana get to be one of the two finalists? There is a culture in District 5 that you're one of us. And I'm not sure if the people in District 5 see their incumbent commissioner as one of them. And I'm going to call it that way. And that concerns me because if they don't see it as one of them, she's out.
That's a very good point, Jimmy. A very good point. I've heard that recently, and I think you summarized it perfectly. You're not
I
one of us.
look, I it's kind of interesting because I've been doing this for some years, and it always surprises me what I call the ignorance of all Hispanics don't look or think alike.
Yeah.
All African Americans don't look or think alike.
Right.
Uh, uh, there is a distinction between Hispanics and African Americans that I've always made, and people don't understand this too well. When you talk to District 5, an educated African American is not what they're looking for.
Yeah.
That's not what they call one of their own. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Uh, And in an Hispanic community, an educated person is what they want representing them because they want somebody who can make them look good because of the discrimination that they suffer for years. Uh,
Right.
that's the distinction. But in District 5, I've always fascinated me because when the last commissioner was elected, people told me what, and they kept telling me when I went out there, she's one of us. Okay. That is where it ended up. So I'm not, from what I'm hearing, I don't think that the current person is coming back. I might be wrong, but I don't think. Now, in District 3, it's even more interesting because
Yeah.
realistically, I can predict that it's the incumbent. Oh, wait a minute, there is no incumbent.
Yes.
That
Yes.
makes it kind of up in the air. Uh,
Right.
People keep telling me that one has a head in front of the other. I'm not sure based on what, but they might be right and I might be wrong.
Right.
Uh, Look, the past commissioner left. He got fed up with the city and stuff like that, and he wanted out. So I understand that. I agree to that. So I'm not going to go into three which one I think is going to win. The one that's going to be interesting is next year when Anna, up to now, does not really have serious opposition. I'm going to
Right.
say
I
she
agree.
doesn't. Uh, is she going to be able to walk in or not? And
Right.
I'm going to make a reverse to this. Do you think it's too late for anybody to remount a campaign to run against Anna at this point, or do they still have time?
I think they have time, but not too much. And honestly, Jimmy, we talked about this, and you know me. The earlier, the better. Um, they do theoretically have more than enough time, and remember, the election is 2027,
Correct.
so there's still time. However, we're talking about a mayoral seat that will be up for the first time in 25 years, unless Mayor Buddy Dyer decides to stick it out again for another 4 years. Uh, but Representative Escamani has raised over $700,000 for the campaign. Who knows how much in her PAC? And her campaign, her people are intimately involved in all three commissioner races right now. So she's got an early jump. She's getting to know voters right now. She's collecting data on voter behavior, voter interest, and et cetera, right now by being involved in, Tom King's campaign, Shan Rose's campaign, I forgot her name, Tanya, and forgive me, Mira's campaign. So she has a tactical advantage that could be unsurmountable for anyone who's getting into this race now or anytime in the near future. I just think too much
Quite
time is.
quite to the contrary. I've heard somebody tell me this. They think she's backing the wrong horses.
Okay. Okay, sure. Okay, okay.
In five, there's a distinct thing that they think the, the incumbent is not going to win, and they're backing the incumbent,
hmm hmm Right, right.
and that might backfire. Okay, and then if let's say if they lose in three, because I have them more or less, uh, and remembering that the election of these commissioners is by 400 or 500 people. It's not like it's
That's
thousands.
right. That's
Okay,
right.
uh, and the this thing of Democrats Republicans in District 1, I don't think they're backing the incumbent either.
Correct.
So if by any miracle the three candidates that they are were try to get in indoors. If two of them lose, other people might see that as making her vulnerable. That's the only concern I've had of this political. Oh, look, if she wins all three, you're right, she's solid. But if she loses two, which there is a good chance she's going to, then the question is going to come: is this going to show strength, or is this going to show weakness? Is this going to show that she's going to go with the woke candidate, or is she going to go with the candidate who who has the potential to win? Because if there's one thing I've always admired about Buddy, Buddy is always going with what he thinks is the winner. If he thinks
That's
that
true.
that guy's going to win, he's with him. If you know, but yeah, and this is interesting. Up to now, that I know of, Anna has not endorsed anybody for any county race.
That's correct, sir. That is correct. I've been watching that. I think that her team's gamble on the three commissioners is a good gamble this early because again, it will be 2 years until the election for Orlando mayor. So voters have very short memories, and even us politicos, we have short memories too. And yes, right now it's only 6%. Excuse me, 6% turnout at this moment, so that's less than 6,000 people. Um, the information is valuable that hopefully they're collecting on these voters. I think whether the candidates that she support, if all three of them win, or if all three of them lose, still a tactical advantage and a strategic advantage in collecting early information about what voters want or don't want in their city government.
You got a
And
point, and I hope you're right. So let's go to a new section I'm going to invent, which is this week the corruption of the week.
uh-oh, here we go. New segment, corruption of the week. Yes, I'm gonna have to
Okay,
write that down.
now, as you all know, and you've heard, like I like to say, the half of the story, so let me give you the whole truth.
All right.
Our president, Donald J. Corrupt Trump, pardoned Chow Ping Sao. Now, you're going to say, well, who cares? Well, let's start.
Easy.
This guy's Chinese. Okay, if you
Uh-huh.
didn't pick it up from his name, he's Chinese. Why was he in jail? What crime did he commit? Well, that's the interesting thing. He committed wiretapping fraud. He committed money laundering fraud and others, and he is the king of what you would call bitcoins or cyber uh,
Currency.
currency. You could call whichever way you want. His company and his people, while he was in jail earlier
Binance.
this year, set up what you know as the Trump Bitcoin or the Trump cyber economy
Will
with
literally.
$1.5 million, and today is it's supposedly worth close to $2 billion. Now,
Mm.
people do not buy these coins to send them home to say, "Oh look, I have a little Bitcoin, and this little Bitcoin is what." No, that's not the way it works. They don't exist. Okay, they call them that to give them a name. Uh, what are they used for? For corrupt people. I send you money there, and I say, "Hey, David, here's my deposit number 826." Oh yeah, I see it here. Yeah, that's my 2.5 million. Okay, thank you. So all the corrupt money that Donald Trump and his family has been receiving was through this person. Now the agreement was that once this was done and everything, the president would pardon this person. Now, up to now, He's pardoning people for political reasons, because they're good Republicans, because they are good Americans, and because their charges were wrong. Okay, supposedly. Why would he pardon a Chinese national who has screwed this country left and right, who was proven before a jury of 12 people of your own peers, Republicans and Democrats, that he had committed serious crimes? A judge, after hearing all the evidence, sentenced him to a long term in jail like he deserved. Why was he pardoned? It was a deal. You helped me set this up, and I will pardon you. What redeeming value did they get? Did the White House gave us? That's an interesting thing. Uh, he, they said, and this is their answer, that basically he was incarcerated because of his belief in cyber currency. No, he was proven to steal from the people, just like the young man that is in jail because he took the money from the site and put it in his pockets. Yes, the same thing. So basically, we have an American in jail for committing the same crime that Donald Trump is not pardoned, but we have a Chinese who took our money and was pardoned because he set up a corruption cyber system for Donald Trump. That is your corruption of the week. Now I'm going to make it simpler. The fuck up of the week is one word, already two: lack of communication. Both parties, you have kept fucking it up. We're about to have people go hungry in this country because they're playing the old game of chicken. Who's the first one's going to blink? Can the Republicans use the emergency funds to pay for uh, so people can continue eating? Yes, they can. Is their interpretation that this is not an emergency? That is wrong. I understand. But right now, they need to communicate. Say, look, this has gone far enough. Look,
Okay.
we have your points. Let's sit down and let's negotiate. What do you want? Okay, if I give you this, will you give me that? That's the way government in this country has worked for 250 years. Okay? All of a sudden now it's my way, the highway. Is not going to make this country great again. It's going to make this country a disaster for the first time. Uh, I understand that you cannot talk to each other, but find a way. As a matter of fact, you want to use me, I'll talk to both of you and I'll work out a deal for you. No problem. No cost, just for the benefit of the American people. But you need to communicate. You are killing this country. It's no longer the greatest country in the world, and it's not on the route to become a great country again. It's people are looking at it the same way that I heard somebody say to a friend of mine in Canada. Yeah, you elected a bad person, but I do not think that you are going to be able to recuperate that soon after you kick him out. Or like I heard when I went recently to Puerto Rico, really? Do we want to be a colony of those guys? With that, both parties, you share the fuck up of the week because you cannot communicate. Either side. I'm not going to try to say that one is better than the other. You are both equally irresponsible. Sit down and talk it out. Mike Johnson, open the house. Let's discuss alternatives. But having your people in their home states and not sitting down discussing is not going to work. Chuck, sit down with the people in the Senate and say, hey, if you give me this, I'll vote for a continuing resolution until June of next year and work it out. But you're not talking to each other. Chuck, you're not talking to the people over there. Mike Johnson, you don't even have your people here to sit down in the house and discuss anything. You need to sit down and discuss it. And if Epstein comes out, hey, I would love to see those files. I would
Yeah.
love to see how involved Donald Trump was with that sexual pervert. But that's a story for another day. So,
Yeah.
with that, let's hit that button. Like, dislike, I don't care. Hit the other button, subscribe. That one I really like. Okay? The other thing I would like you to do is comment. If you have something that you think I was wrong, let me know. If you think I was right, let me know. But let's talk. And with that in mind, remember the public employees are not your enemy. The parties are not your enemy. The corrupt politicians that you have elected, those are your enemies. I'll see you all next week. Take care.
All right, Jimmy. Happy Halloween. Enjoy the weekend.
Yes, you too.
All right. Take care.
Bye.